Coming up on today's episode of the SaaS School podcast.
So you have to look at your launch not as a serendipitous exercise or, things will happen, luck, pray, God, Bhagwan Bharose, all of that, right? If you know for a fact that you have to be in the top 5, you have to engineer it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's explore how growth, product, and customer success work together across SaaS companies. Welcome to the SaaS School podcast. And here's your host, Abhinav Arora. Abhinav, the stage is yours.
Howdy, good folks. Welcome to yet another episode of the SaaS School podcast. Today, I have with me Abhash Kumar. Abhash, for those of you who don't know, is a very popular personality in the Indian startup ecosystem, especially in the Bengaluru startup ecosystem. I, in fact, started my career under Abhash at Your Story. Today, Abhash works with Springworks, heads marketing for them, and has cracked multiple product launches in SaaS, which is why we have him here. Hi, Abhash.
Hey, Abhinav.
When I see Product Hunt and when I see people who have done launches on Product Hunt, I've heard a lot of, yours is a great success story, but there are more failed stories there. There are people like, 4 upvote mile, I got 5 upvotes and that's about it. Never made it to trending. It's become like that. The marketplace dynamics, not everyone can rank on Udemy, not everyone can rank on Amazon, not everyone can rank on Google for that matter. So is this only for few privileged people, or do you think this can be cracked?
It can definitely be cracked. I think the number one mistake that people make is they start thinking about the Product Hunt launch 2 days before the launch. Or maybe even on the day of the launch, they already launch it and then they're like, oh, why are the upvotes not coming, right? If I have to give you an analogy, much like the Google Play Store, if you think about it, why do people do paid app install campaigns, right? What happens is that it improves your ranking on the App Store once you do paid install campaigns. And then people start discovering it organically, right? Because of the fact that on the homepage, you can only see the top 10 or maybe top 15 products. And that too, maybe people only notice the first top 5, top 6, top 7. You have to ensure that you come in that top 7. And how you come in that top 7 is by starting to prepare for the launch at least 30 days before the launch date. So what you want to be doing at least 30 days before the launch is one, if you have an audience, well and good. That's, you're sorted.
Define having an audience.
Having an audience would be...
Should I be famous on Twitter, LinkedIn?
Yeah, you could be, you have a bunch of followers on Twitter. Maybe not as much LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is not the sort of place where, product hunters hang out on. Twitter definitely is that place. Maybe you have an email list, right? So you are a pre-launch startup, just taking an example. And you had like a pre-launch thing going on where, you're getting emails from people who want first access to your product. You have maybe, 2,000 people. That's the best way to go about it, because you can literally say, help support our launch on Product Hunt. Maybe we give you an access 10 days before, the other early access folks get it. So those are the sort of things, what I mean by having an audience. If you don't, you can always tap into others' audiences. But that too cannot happen on the day of the launch. You need to start talking about your product, start talking about your launch. It's as simple as that, right? 30 days before the launch, you can say, hey, people in whatever community you are in, I'm going to be launching this in 30 days, right? And there are a bunch of ways you can talk about it. You can say, have a look at my website. If you have a website already, critique my website, do you find some flaws in it? Do you want to try out my product? Those are all the ways to get the community to notice your product before you actually come on the day of the launch and say, hey, I have actually launched it today. Can you support? Because you have already gotten some investment from these people, right? Because they have, seen you talking about it. Maybe they have tried out your product. Maybe they have given you feedback.
Built that affinity.
Yes.
Can you talk about a case study that you've experienced or you've seen? How did you build your audience, or how did you tap into someone's audience to do a successful launch?
So Product Hunt, I think till now I have launched 20 of my own, not my own, as in the company that I work for, Springworks, their products. I've hunted a bunch of other people's products as well. And
define hunting products.
So hunting product is, Abhinav, you want to launch a product to on Product Hunt. You could, essentially do it yourself. But it always helps if you get it done by someone who has been very active on Product Hunt. So that's what hunting means.
Yeah.
So coming back to the question of
20 launches.
Yeah, 20 launches. And I think, we have had multiple top 3 launches. I think more than 10 top 3 launches. One of the most basic things that you can do 30 days before your launch, and this is again coming from my own personal experience, is you create a broadcast group on your WhatsApp of people that you know are from the tech ecosystem, right? So people who are likely to be on Twitter. I mean, right?
Few people, but really good people.
Few people, really good people, like maybe 40, 50. I'm pretty sure you will be able to find 40, 50 people, right? 30 days before your launch, ask them to sign up on Product Hunt if they are not already on Product Hunt.
Okay.
And have them do a bunch of tasks. What you also need to be doing, Abhinav, is not just, creating your account on Product Hunt. What you also want to be doing in those 30 days is warm up. It's something I call warming up your account, which is essentially follow a bunch of people, start upvoting a bunch of products so that it looks like,
act like a human.
Yes, act like a human. But if you think about this from Product Hunt's standpoint also, we are effectively bringing 50 new users to their platform, right?
Dude, that's really smart. I get an idea that you launch a cohort-based course of how to Product Hunt, get everyone started on Product Hunt, 30 days later launch another course on how to Product Hunt, get these guys to hunt it.
You could be in a cohort-based course. Maybe I'm not sure if you have.
I used to.
You used to, right? So just imagine how many people were there in that community.
150 on average. Yeah.
You got 150. If you got 150 people active on Product Hunt.
Yeah.
And if you launch sometime later, now you have 150 upvotes guaranteed, right? Maybe not everyone will, but 100 upvotes guaranteed, right? That's huge because number one product of the day on the peak days, which are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, get around 700, 800 upvotes.
I've seen few launches on Product Hunt where the product is under a waitlist.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you can launch it.
100%.
So when you say that organic won't kick in if your product is not nice, I'm saying for organic to kick in, people should have tried the product in that day, right? Most of the products are waitlisted. So if you don't get access to the product and you've just hunted and you've commented on the proposition of it, you've commented on the video demo of it, you've not used the product. So I think it's still the packaging that's making products work on Product Hunt.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say those are the majority of them. That may be like 1 or 2 products in the whole week. Like if you go and look at the comments on some of these waitlisted products, people will actually there will be angry comments. And Product Hunt is, by the way, one of the nice places. It's not like Reddit or Hacker News where you will.
So people are passive aggressive.
Yeah, where people are passive aggressive. Product Hunt is the nice platform. But if you do some sort of waitlist, unless it's some life-changing, revolutionary product which people want to get on, then of course,
like a lot of GPT writers were very waitlisted.
In the early days, that was huge, right? So you want to get on it. So when I say product, I don't mean the actual product, right? I mean what you said, right? The packaging, the proposition, that itself is the product, right? Which is very true for even the other analogy that I gave, right? Which is, Google Play Store, right? So you have to look at your launch not as a serendipitous exercise or, things will happen, luck, pray, God, Bhagwan Bharose, all of that, right? You have to engineer it.
Okay.
If you know for a fact that you have to be in the top 5, and that too on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can go back and see at least 500 upvotes. We launched Trivia, which is an app for team bonding, works on Slack, MS Teams. And we have launched it 6 times on Product Hunt already. So the first time was, Trivia for Slack, because only we had the Slack app at that point. And then we launched Trivia for MS Teams. And then every time we launched a new feature, we would go back to Product Hunt.
So you're basically packaging the feature as a new product and launching it and getting the...
Exactly. So if it is Trivia, for example, which is like an proper app, then I would want to launch it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday.
The reason being?
So now there is a difference between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday. Let's talk about these 3 buckets. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the most difficult day to launch. Because the competition will be the highest. Because the amount of people coming on the website is the highest on these 3 days. So if you are fine with being in the top 5, you don't want to really hit number 1 because that's again vanity, right? You will still end up getting probably more number of users, actual users on the website than if you were number one on a Saturday or a Sunday. So if you have done like a, very simple job board or some sort of a, very 4-hour, 6-hour kind of a product.
No codish product.
Yeah, no codish product. Best to launch it on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ideally Saturday, Sunday. Even Friday is, easier. Friday and Mondays are easier. The toughest days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Ideally for your first launch, if it's not you're launching something for your big unicorn company, I would highly recommend you do it on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Anything else that you did? Secret sauce? Where did you tap into the audience?
Yeah, so the audiences,
Apart from the WhatsApp group.
Let's talk about if I were to launch tomorrow, which are the audiences that I will tap into, right? Number one would be my workplace itself. It has 200 plus employees, right? Over time.
And all of them you've trained on.
Exactly. Over the past 2 years, they are all, and they have become fans of Product
Army.
Hunt. I have introduced them to Product Hunt, but it's good for Product Hunt as well because they are getting
mind,
these active users as well. So that's the first thing that I tap into. The second thing that I tap into is a WhatsApp group, right? Of people who support product launch, not just Product Hunt, but ideally, give you feedback on your. If you're just going to launch something, they'll be ready to get on a 15-minute call with you just to give feedback. It's that sort of an audience. Then you have a bunch of Slack communities that I'm part of, right?
So you've already warmed yourself up there.
Exactly. And these are people who already understand Product Hunt. They are already, active on Product Hunt. And then of course, you go back to Twitter, you go back to LinkedIn. You definitely DM people who are influencers on Product Hunt.
But not for the first time.
Not for the first time. Yeah. So you ideally are already in their DMs. You have had these conversations. I mean, this is what I would do if I were to launch tomorrow.
But this is your leverage that you've already built.
Exactly. But I'm sure, listeners or people who are watching this, they can, reverse engineer. Where do you want to be if you're just getting started?
So instead of starting like 30 days in advance, maybe you should start 6 months in advance and
100%.
build those roots in all these Slack communities,
100%.
Twitter DMs. Do you think you can publicly name a few Slack communities where people can join and
I wouldn't want to recommend it just for getting Product Hunt support. So there is AJVC, a junior VC's Slack community. I'm a big fan of the Build.
Skip the line.
Build CBC as well, right? The other communities as a marketer that I'm part of is PMA, which is Product Marketing Alliance. There is PLG, SaaS Boomi, which is like all the SaaS founders from India. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind immediately.
Anything else that people are missing? You told me there are like 3 big mistakes. What's the second one?
Yeah. The second mistake that they make is, which I sort of already discussed how to not make that mistake, is they get their family and friends to, create the account on the day of the launch and, support their launch. And so what this does is it tells the Product Hunt algorithm that you are employing bots to do this exercise, while you might be having actual humans do it. But because of the fact that the account just created today and the first thing that they are doing is,
upvoting
all of these new accounts are upvoting your product. It's a very clear indicator to the algorithm.
And you'd be penalized.
Yeah, you'll be penalized. You would probably see on the top 5 or top 10, you would probably see a product that has more upvotes, but is still lower than a product with a lesser number of upvotes. And sometimes the difference is 100, 200 upvotes.
Oh.
So there might be 2 or 3 scenarios here. The easiest answer is, the product with more upvotes, which is down in the rankings, has employed, this sort of a thing. Either they have used bots or they have gotten, lots of upvotes from very new product hunt profiles.
You mean that don't get people on the same day? For sure, get people introduced to Product Hunt. And then, you can't really forcibly make them act like human. Get real people who would want to support you and get them introduced to Product Hunt. Be their evangelists to 100%. Product Hunt. Any other big mistakes?
So you have sorted out your audience. You know the communities that you want to tap into. You know for a fact that you will get, 200, 300 people to support your launch. What you end up doing is you start sending out messages to all these communities. I'm hoping not everyone is in that's this one single community, because then you can't control it. You get all of them to support your launch in the first couple of hours of the day. So now what happens is a Product Hunt launch day starts at 1:30 p.m. IST when there is daylight savings, otherwise 12:30 p.m. IST. and which is 12 p.m. PST. So, most of the people coming on Product Hunt are from the US or North America. All of that activity in the US or North America starts happening at 8, 9 in the morning, their time, which is like 8 p.m., 6 p.m., depending on, East Coast, West Coast, 6 p.m., 8 p.m. India time. So what will end up happening is, by that time, if you've already exhausted all of your community, you've tapped into all the audiences and everything, your product, of course, it has gotten an X number of upvotes, but it has slowed down, right? You're not getting more traction, right? Which shows to the Product Hunt algorithm that organically people are not liking it. And then this new product from the US comes at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and they start getting traction, right? So they might have gotten only 100 or 150 upvotes, but your 300 upvotes now to the algorithm, it looks like, this is a much more interesting product to people. So let's push this up in the ranking. What I do is I start off with, of course, my colleagues. Those are the ones.
200 upfront.
Of course, not all 200 will do it because,
Whatever
people don't
constraints.
see the notifications, right? I will post it on maybe one general channel. Not everyone will see it at the same time.
Correct.
So that works out actually. I'll try to get, that first hour, of course, because I want to get into the top 3 as fast as possible. So that I can keep getting organic discovery while I'm doing all these other things, right? Because if you're in top 3, you're visible to everyone who is coming on Product Hunt that day. And then I will do my next big batch at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time.
Okay.
Because that's
Which is
when
US morning.
is waking up and, starting their thing. And then I will hold another one, which goes back to, what I said in the beginning. 22 hours, I was number 1. And then for last 2 hours, someone trumped. I'll hold it for 10 a.m.
Finishing.
Indian Standard Time. Yeah.
So, Abhash, Product Hunt as a GTM is not, it's very popular amongst a certain kind of target audience. That target audience is internet first, millennials like us, people who've grown with internet and are very startupish in their DNA. It wouldn't probably occur to an Apollo or to a Mixpanel. Is Product Hunt really a reliable go-to-market strategy, or is it just the new cool thing in market for the last few years?
Yeah, definitely not the new cool thing. I think it's been around for a while, and you rightly said, Product Hunt, mostly tech, startup ecosystem. That's the sort of people that are there. And we need to go back to the origins of Product Hunt. So if you had to create an account on Product Hunt, initially, you could only do it with a Twitter account. This I'm talking about, 7, 8, 10 years back, right? So at that point, Twitter itself was quite niche, if you think about it. And that to, the tech audience. So you're talking about that sort of an audience, which is on Twitter, which is probably using Slack at work. Those are the sort of people that are on Product Hunt.
We spoke that there's a certain target audience on Product Hunt. And that makes me feel that it may not be the go-to for everyone. Maybe I want to go to Germany, probably not the best.
Yeah.
Who is Product Hunt for, and who is it not for?
One basic thing that you can, easily, anyone can figure it out. Just go to SimilarWeb, look at where the traffic is coming from, right? You will see, for example, 10% of the traffic is India. Which is also huge. I'm not saying that's small.
This is the smart India, the techie India.
Correct. But it's not big enough, right? So you want to be launching a product, essentially B2C, some sort of an app that will always do well. B2B will also
Name a
do
B2C app that you think, a Superhuman?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that will do fantastically well because that's the sort of audience, early adopters, probably works at a tech startup, internet startup.
In the US.
In the US, in India. But again, India is a smaller audience. US, North America. Effectively, when I say US, I mean North America. North America would be, 50-60% of that audience. Surprisingly, some folks from Japan. Interestingly, Twitter's audience, Slack's audience, and Product Hunt's audience, there is huge similarity. And I think that is because of the fact that, all the early adopters were the first ones to start using it. And then they evangelized it within their company. And that's how these products grew, right? So, for example, we have a background verification product, right? Which is a B2B background verification product. Won't do well on Product Hunt, 100% sure. ICP for that is CHROs,
ICPs?
VPHR.
ICP?
Sorry, ICP is ideal customer profile. So basically, or customer persona, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the sort of people you think will buy this product from you. And so, for example, for this is a great way to actually differentiate. So even the other product that we have, Trivia, effectively the decision making may happen through VPHR or CHRO, which is again not the sort of audience that is hanging out on Product Hunt, which is the same case with the background verification product also. But the beauty with Trivia is the usage will happen via the early adopters, the people on Slack, Twitter, maybe devs, young marketers, and then it will.
They'll have to build a case super jaake.
And this is what in SaaS they call product-led growth now. So it is, bottoms up. That's how Slack grew. So because of the fact that no one is interested in the background, using the background verification product at the bottom, and it's only the decision maker. So it's either the vendor manager or the VPHR, CHRO, or some senior person. Those are not the sort of people that live on Product Hunt. And we have launched, and it has actually not done well.
Okay, so Abhash, from what you're telling me, you've launched products in India to mostly a North American audience. I've heard of this Indian American dream, and I've heard various opinions on this Indian American dream, that is build in India, sell to the US. There are people who would say that India doesn't have product managers who can understand the nuances of a US audience. India doesn't have the marketing that can sell to US. India doesn't have sales, which I understand. I mean, if it's cracking a big account, you can't just do it on video conferencing. What's your take on that? Are you a marketer who's been born and brought up in the US and hence you're able to sell to the US, or what is it?
I have not been. So my first job where I spent the most of my time was Your Story. And it was pretty much for the Indian audience. And only when I moved to Springworks, effectively, if you ask me pure play, self-serve SaaS, we started that last April. We launched the first product in June of 2020, right? So effectively, I have also done this for 1.5 years now. And let me tell you, I disagree with most of the things except the sales part. If it is a big account, I totally agree with you.
So you believe that Indian American dream is a realistic dream?
Definitely. So what I'm trying to say is, if it is self-serve, if it is product-led growth, it won't really matter as much. But coming back to your point of sales, enterprise, when it comes to enterprise, they do need some sort of a touch happening, right? So if you're talking about maybe $100,000 plus, those sort of accounts, you probably need someone in the US. Still early days for product management as a function, even in India, right? But yeah, we are all using products made in the US. So I don't agree with the fact that, we don't understand. Everyone is figuring it out. I think PLG, like I keep repeating, right? That's the latest buzzword. In the simplest of terms, it's freemium. That's what it is, right? You let someone use the product.
Freemium plus referrals is equal to PLG.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, there are some nuances, but at the very basic, that is what it is.
So, lastly, Product Hunt is a new GTM that I still feel is underexploited.
Correct.
Any other such marketplaces for SaaS founders and SaaS marketers to throw their products at and get the initial traction without spending much on ads? That is my one question. And what is the repercussion of doing a GTM via ads and SEO and whatever?
Repercussion via SEO can't be seen. I mean, it takes some time because SEO takes time to kick in. But yeah, going back to your point on the other platforms that you can try out, I think, again, it depends on the sort of product that you have.
And the audience that you need.
So, there is this lifetime deal platforms like, AppSumo, PitchGround that you can try out. But again, you have to be very clear on what you want from these platforms, because see, what will end up happening is, yes, you will get initial set of users. By the way, before that, the sort of products that probably work there are for, built for agencies. Someone runs like a 20%, 30% marketing agency. That's like the ICP. Those are the sort of people you will find. To be fair, there are many companies that have become super big and they had, first launched on
I remember Hopin, a $4-5 billion company now. They started off as a LTD on this thing, AppSumo.
100%.
So if you're building for the creator economy or for the freelancers, proposals, landing pages, email marketing software,
or
those analytics.
Yeah, chatbots, those sort of things work very, very well.
Martech, basically.
Martech.
Martech. HR probably wouldn't because company owners don't really come there.
Yeah. So because your decision maker won't be.
Got it. And you can do a top-down sale there
You can't.
via those
You can't.
platforms.
You can't.
Any closing thoughts, Abhash?
The one thing that I want to say is, you may have a failure.
Learn from it.
Yeah, learn from it. You can always relaunch. There is nothing stopping you from, launching it again. The only thing possibly you need to do is to change the URL because they don't allow you to use the same URL within a span of 6 months.
And just the last, throw off certain examples. Who do we look up to or reverse engineer when it comes to successful product and launches apart from yours?
Oh yeah, sure. The one thing that you can do is
Who have you seen? Like, name a few successful launches that you've seen and you've tried?
no, there have been a bunch of launches. I'm 500hunters.com as well, which is essentially the list of top 500 product hunters, which is like I explained, the people who hunt other people's products.
Reputed folks.
Yeah. So ideally, you look up to them. You start following them on Twitter. All of them will be on Twitter. And given that they are top 500, they come from an era where Twitter was used to create a product hunt account. So their product hunt URL will be equal to their Twitter URL, as in the @ that they will have, right? So start following them. Start create a list. Start engaging with their tweets. Try to get into their DMs. If you are able to get into the DMs of 50 of these people, and if they 20 of them support you on the day of the launch, you sorted.
Fantastic. Cool. I think that brings us to a close. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you, Abhash.